Hey traders, in this video we're going to have a look at the indices. We're going to have a look at also there's a nice big pattern that's happening on silver. We're going to look at silver as well too. And also going to be giving you a bit of a Bitcoin update as well too. So let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video. Trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There is no guarantees of making money in the markets, and trading is the most hardest thing you will ever do, and it takes a long time to become a good trader. So this video is just educational only. If you're struggling with your trading right now, then click on the very first link in the description and get learn a free training, the 7 universal laws to become a master trader that will boost your success, consistency, and confidence without spending a decade trying to figure it out. Click on the very first link in the description right now. Alright traders, so let's get straight into today's video. One thing I want to talk to you guys about is on the short term, basically what's happening with the indices right now. So firstly, what happened, you can see the Dow Jones is actually rejecting this candle where we are right now. There's nothing much there, as in like to say that this is likely to fail or not, but we are still getting a lot of weakness here compared to the S&P. So you can see the market ran up. It did actually indeed reject that trend line. So it would be interesting to see if we do end up seeing a bit of a sell-off here in the markets. Again, the Dow Jones is that silent word to say something is just not right. And if we go down to the S&P, this is the S&P 500. You can see the S&P 500 really just held there, right? Just held there and didn't really follow through, did it? You can see we're not getting any follow through here. Again, do we come down and close this gap here and completely reverse tomorrow? If so, then that could be the start of this thing rallying back down again, following the Dow Jones. Now the Nasdaq once again is also racing up to new highs as well too. But you can see how it's not really, today wasn't a really strong day as well too. It was just a bit of a spinning top, not much going on there. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens tomorrow. If we get a follow through tomorrow, then obviously it's a strong continuation move. If we get a down bar, if we get a down candle, a red candle here, especially if it comes down tomorrow, then that's going to be like what we call like an island reversal, and that's a reversal pattern for more downside to come in the markets. So that's what I see through there. Let me go have a look at the other markets here. So the transportation average, not much going on here with the transportation average. Look at the IWV. I think this is the top 3,000 stocks. Same thing as well too. And the IWM is basically making all-time new highs as well too. So that's basically what we're seeing through there, guys. Again, the indices, that Dow Jones is still telling me something's not quite right where we are right now. Something's lurking behind the scenes that we just can't see. Moving on now through to silver and gold. So let's have a look here on, this is the silver chart. Actually, you know what? Let's go to have a look at the gold chart first. So the gold chart, this is the gold chart right now, pretty much just going sideways, not much going on through there. And the same for silver as well too, just very sideways. We're likely to get a nice strong breakout very soon. And I believe it's going to be up, and I believe we're likely to see a nice break to the high side. Now, let's go have a look at those long-term charts once again on silver and gold. So we'll start with the gold chart here first. And on the gold chart, what do we see here? This gold chart is still, once again, still forming this major bottoming pattern, but keep an eye out for this. What is this here? This is a bull flag, right? You can see how, keep an eye out for what is happening through here, because this, once again, this is a big bull flag in this overall market here. So this big weekly chart here, big weekly bull flag through here. If we go back to our daily chart, you can see we're just basically in this big bull flag through here. So that tells me we are likely to hold here, and we're likely to rally up and out. And once we do, then we can see a really strong breakout and a really strong rally through that. Now, moving on now to silver, you can actually see, if I squeeze my chart up, my weekly chart, you actually can see that it's actually in a really strong overall pennant through here. And let me just draw that through there. So you've got this really strong overall downward pennant formation through there. And you've got this level coming up through here as well too. So we're getting towards, the market generally does, the way that these work is that you have, obviously this is the starting point here. This is the 25% rule here. This is around about, say, the 50%, and then oh, that's 50%, maybe a bit more, and then somewhere around about the 80% or 80% or so. That's when you can start to see a significant breakout. So I'm expecting to see a nice strong breakout out of silver real soon, and it does look like that the way that this is setting up, that we may be getting a move to the high side. And once again, we are definitely holding this level through here on this overall weekly chart. Once again, go to that daily chart. You can see how we're just holding that level through there. So I do believe we're going to start seeing some big moves to the high side on silver and gold. And that's what I'm seeing through there. You know, which way, what do you guys think? Which way do you think silver's going to break out on this big long-term weekly chart? Which way will it break? Now, moving forward now into Bitcoin. This is the, let me bring up the Bitcoin chart. And let me share with you what I see in Bitcoin. So this is what's happening with Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin's actually looking quite weak. Technically speaking right now, Bitcoin is looking very, very weak. It's actually not looking strong at all. You can, I was doing videos before saying this looks like it's going to be a head and shoulder. And I was saying, if we break that $12 mark, then it's all over. But if we don't, then we're likely to roll back over. You can see we didn't break it. And now we've continued to roll over through here where we are right now. And as you can see, you always keep an eye on those lower highs, lower highs, lower high, and this one here was also another slight lower high, or a bit of a double top. We didn't break into higher high, did we? And now what are we doing? We're now making a lower low. So that's actually not looking really good for Bitcoin. And as you can see, if I do some trend lines on this chart, from there to there, you can actually see what actually happened. Bitcoin only ran to its top of the channel, and then it actually started to break out. And now you can also see that from this point, we also did start we just basically ran up. This is what we call a bit of a counter trend. So you can see that this market here ran down, counter trend, ran down. Oh, let me do something else here. Let me go here. All right, now what do we have here? We have down, counter trend, down, counter trend, down. So the overall market is overall down. Then we have this pretty big counter trend, and now we're going down. Now, why is this a counter trend? Because it really didn't change the trend, right? We're still making these lower highs, and lower highs all the way up. And now this is what we call a counter trend. And sometimes what will happen is in the markets, and you'll see this with stocks all the time, that in a big overall downward trend, you'll see the market market run up, come here, make a high, and then rally back up, and you'll draw your trend line through there. And as you can see, as X marks the spot, as you can see through here. So as soon as we started to break out of this channel, that's what created the bearishness. And now, once again, we're creating all this level through here, which has now been support, was now being resistance, and we now should start to see a bit more of a run back to the downside, possibly even breaking that 6,000 mark and continuing down from there. So there's a bit of an update, guys. Question for you guys: what do you think is going to happen? The first question is, what do you think is going to happen with the stock market? Do you think we are likely to roll over? Do you think there's something lurking behind the scenes because of the Dow Jones? Secondly, which way is silver and gold going to break out? I'm very bullish on silver and gold right now, especially that gold chart, big bull flag. And also, thirdly, what do you think is going to happen with Bitcoin? Like this video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this.